Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wa sallallahu ala rasulillah wa alihi wa sahbihi wa man ittaba'a hudahu ila yawmiddin. Amma ba'du. Today we are starting again with the lessons in Arabic. We are in study of Arabic language. This is, what number lesson is this? Lesson 10. Okay? الدرس العاشر. درس عشرة. Here. Now, previously we had spoke about yanmu. Everybody, we said yanmu. Everybody say ya, noon, meme, and wow. And this was in when we were talking about the letter wow. Everybody remember that? And we said wawun is 6 when counting lean, and jaharun rikhwun's on the scene. But before that we said it's always in that gang, yanmu. Everybody say that, yanmu. And I said that yanmu represents ya, noon, meme, wow. They'll make idgham. Everybody say idgham. And idgham, I mentioned, is a tajweed rule, right? Idgham is a tajweed rule. And I just wanted to make mention of it because last week I forgot to mention an example for wow. We said for ya, we said man ya'mal. Man ya'mal. And we said idgham is dakhala shay fi shay. Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yanmu is what? Dakhala shay fi shay. So, with that, and remember, we're working with King Hawaz. Everybody say King Hawaz. And Hawaz is ha, wow, and zay. He's the second king. What's the first king's name? Abu Jad. So we have Abjad. Everybody say Abjad. Hawaz. Huttiya. Kaliman. Sa'fas. Kurishat. Fakhid. Dadig. These are the 6 kings, and then at Fakhid Dadig, these are additional words, 2 words they put together to encompass the whole of the Arabic alphabet. Today we are on Hawaz. Everybody say that, Hawaz. In particular, we're reviewing ha. Okay? Which letter are we reviewing? Ha. That's this one right here, ha. So, when dealing with ha, we remember that ha has yanmu. It's part of that gang, yanmu, right? Who remembers the poem? Recite to me the poem. Wow. Hurts or hurdle? No, that's ha. I'm sorry, I said ha, didn't I? I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I meant wow. Astaghfirullah. That's called badal al-ghalat. You make a mistake with your tongue. I meant wow. Give me wow. Recite wow. Wawun, the makhraj, can be found wherever someone's saying ow. And we remember the rule is, why does it say ow? Because there's a rule. If you ever want to know the makhraj, what's the makhraj?
The point of articulation.
What is a makhraj?
Point of articulation.
A makhraj is a point of articulation, right? How many makhrajes are there in the Arabic language? 2. What's the first one? One that you can put your finger on. For example, like ib. Everybody say that.
Ib.
That's one. What's another one? The one that you cannot put your finger on. Like ow. Everybody say ow.
Ow.
You can't put your finger on that one. So it's just like ah. Everybody say ah. You can't put your finger on Hamza. And deep inside my mouth I find that Hamza lives inside. It's deep inside, but you can't put your finger deep inside your mouth. And likewise with wow, you can't put your finger on that makhraj. So that's the second type, just like in abijad, and you hear wow here. Those two types. And also, there's two types of makhraj when you deal with practicing the letters. The one type of makhraj as the letter is by itself, and the makhraj of the point of articulation when that letter is coupled with a noon, is sakin or tanween. Right? We spoke about that. This is called tajweed. When you deal with noon is sakin. And the way you pronounce a letter, it differs. And for that reason, we said, wawun, the makhraj can be found wherever someone's saying. So now, I'm teaching you something here. If you ever want to find the makhraj, you put an alif with a fatha before it, and you put the letter that you want to sound off. So if I want to find the makhraj for a del, I put a del here. Now everybody say ad. Where you start off when you said ad, that's the makhraj of del. Do you understand that? Now take the tip, right? Take that what? Right, take the tip of your tongue and place it on your what? And place it on your gums. Say ad. Okay, that's the makhraj. Likewise, he said, say ow. Everybody say ow. Ow. See, that's how you found the makhraj. And that's why he said, wa'un, the makhraj can be found wherever someone's saying. Ow. That's the makhraj. Ow. It's in your mouth someplace. And we know that means that the type of makhraj it is, it's not haqiqi. It's ghayra haqiqi. You can't put your finger. It's vague. It's not like these that are plain. You could put your finger on it. Like ab and edge and ed. Everybody follows me with that rule? You with me? Okay, why when the makhraj can be found wherever someone's saying ow, it's always in that gang yanmu. Everybody say that in. Yanmu. It's always in that gang yanmu. Always in that gang yanmu. They'll make idgham right after noon. Right after noon. So whenever, and actually whenever there's a noon, so what, first of all, we have to know what idgham is. Idgham is dakhala shay fi shay. Idgham is to put something into something else. Let's say this is a cylinder. Okay? And I'm going to enter something inside that cylinder. So you can't see it anymore. You see that? This here is called idgham. I entered something into something else. How does that affect us when we recite the letters of yanmu? Because we said yanmu is ya, noon, meme, and wow. Everybody say yanmu. And they said they'll make idgham, dakhala shay fi shay, enter something into something else, right after noon. So we said whenever the noon is sakina, because we said there are two types of makhraj, right? The makhraj when the letter is by itself, when we say ad or ow, and the makhraj when the letter is tied next to a noon, a sakina, with tanween. So now it's saying after noon, which means in tajweed, whenever the noon comes before, a noon, a sakin, comes before a ya. For example, we enter the ya into the noon. Rather, we enter the noon into the ya. And let's just like we did here with these little letters here. Watch this. We write man, and we go like that, and then we go ya'mal. So everybody here say man ya'mal. Now make idgham and say man ya'mal. You see that? You entered the noon into the ya. Man ya'mal. That's one. Stand up, young man. Erase this right here, please. The next one, yeah, you have to, no, just this bottom piece right here. Just this bottom piece. The next one is noon. Noon is sakin, right? Whenever noon comes, no. Whenever noon comes before from another noon, okay? So, we would go minna. We have, no. I mean, an-nur. 1 second, let me get an example from the Sheikh. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Excuse me? أئن. But that's شدة مشدد. أئن. أعطيني يعني الإدغام بالنون الساكن على النون الساكن.
إدغام نون الساكن.
بالنون في ينمو. مثل من يعمل. الآن أحتاج إلى واحد للنون. نسيته. وراها النون. فكروا. I'm going to come back to the noon. For the meme, we would go like this. Mim, min, man. Say min, man.
Min, man.
So here we make idgham. We would say, again, dakhala shay fi shay. We enter this one into that one. We would say mim, man. Say mim, man. The noon, I mean the second noon, I mean this noon right here, the first noon, it gets entered into the meme. So we say mimman or mimma. You understand that? You found one?
No.
Erase this one. You have to use the spray. Use the spray. Come on, hurry up, guys. قليل. هذا أيضا. أيوة شكرا. جزاكم الله خير. يا رجال. And the last one, we have the one that we really want today is when noon is sakin or tanween comes before a wow. And we have the ayat tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab. So we have lahabin. Everybody say lahabin. Wa tab. Okay, now here we're going to make excuse me, astaghfirullah al-azim. We're going to make idgham from this tanween into the wow. So instead of saying lahabin, you see that? We're not going to say lahabin, we're going to drop this noon sound and enter it into this wow. And so we're going to say lahabin watab. Say that. You see that? You say lahabin watab. Right before you make that noon sound, you enter that noon sound into the wow. And you drop it, dissipates. It disappears. And this is what idgham is. Now, I just wanted to just briefly go, erase all of this, young man. I just want to briefly go over that so that we understand when we say wow, wawun the makhraj, hurry up guys, don't be sitting here playing. Wawun the makhraj can be found wherever someone's saying, ow. Come on, wake up. I listened to these CDs the other day, and you guys are asleep. You know, wake up and rejuvenate the whole learning process. Hurry up, erase the board up here. Okay? Pay attention and answer back. It's supposed to be reciprocal. We're going back and forth, trading off. It says wawun the makhraj can be found wherever someone's saying ow. It's always in that gang. They'll make idgham right after. Wawun is 6 when counting lean. Now what is he talking about? Wawun is 6 when counting lean. Didn't we afford to each one of these? May I have this please? Didn't we afford to each letter a numeric value? Yes, we did. We noticed that each letter has a numeric value. Right? So, if we just, and I showed you a way that you can always know how to calculate the numeric value if you forgot. And the way to do that is you write abjad, hawaz, huttiya, kaliman, sa'fas, kurishat, takhid, dadik. Then you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now he says wawun is 6 when counting lean. Then it says you now the numeric value for wow is what? 6. But he plays it off. He says when counting lean. Lean is it's a type of sifat, a pronunciation of words. And jahrun rikhwun's on the scene. Now it's telling you how to pronounce that letter wow. You know, we went over this before. Their brothers, what's the rest of it? Their brothers fathun istifal and something holding all them down. Okay? So the jahrun is the audibility. Jahrun Wikhun is the weakness of the letter. Jahrun Wikhun's on the scene. The brothers Fathun. Fath is to open your mouth up and down, not to open up and down. Your top lip goes up, your lower lip goes down. You open your mouth rectangular like a doorway. Its opposite is to open your mouth oval or round mouth. So, and we say istifal is to keep the tongue what?
Flat.
Flat. So you say wah. Everybody say wah. And your tongue is flat in your mouth between your teeth. Your mouth goes up and your jaw drops down. Wah, not wah. See, if I go wah, that's incorrect. And I don't raise my tongue, I'll say wah. I keep my tongue istifal. And then samt is the restraint. You hold the air where? In your nasals, in your nose. You say wah. Everybody say wah. Holding the air in your nose. The reason why, and it holds a restraint in your stomach. Because you don't want to say wah and not hold any restraint. Everybody, if you don't restrain yourself, the air just flows out. That adds an extra sound. Extra sound means extra meaning. Okay? So we say wah. 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 We. Woo. Wah. We. Woo. Always keeping that tongue flat. That is wow. Now we're going to go on to Zay. Zay is 7. Okay, it's the 7th one that we're doing. Let me pause for a second and speak to the Imam. Khalid. Shukran. Jazakallah khair. Barakallah feekum. No, we don't need to pause. No, it's okay. It's a class, it's okay. You ready? Now? Ask a question. No uhs. And when you catch it, let me know. You ready? Now we're on Hawaz. Yes, sir. من مارج من نار وخلق من مارج. But that would be for the noon going into the meme. Min marajin. Okay? Min nar. Min. Might be. I don't. Go find it, please. Here goes right here. There's a Musaf right here. وخلق الجنة من مارج من نار لإدغام النون الساكنة إلى النون. إن نقول دام النون ساكن إلى النون إن نقول كده. أيوه. أوكي. هذا النون الأول ساكن والثاني متحركة. إن نقول. أعطيني باقي الآية. لا لسه ما فيش معنى. شكرا. Keep looking for it, bro. Okay, the Sheikh was giving us one when we spoke about Yanmu a little while ago, just to make sure everybody has one. Where is it at? Minnar. Hey, there it is right there. Yes, that's it right there. Minnar. Okay, we have two. Tabarakallah. Minnar. Okay? We have minnar. Let me see it again, please. And we also have innaqul. Tabarakallah. Min nar innaqul. Naqul. That's what I thought. Okay, thank you very much. So here we have the noon is sakin of the first one, and the second one is mutaharrik, so that would be min narin. So everybody say min nar. And the same thing happens here. We have the noon is sakin in naqul. We have both of those there for the proof of noon is sakin coming, and when it comes after it is a noon mutaharrika for that construction of yanmu. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Barakallah fikum wa yani dhakaratikum, and everybody's remembrance. Barakallah fikum. Now we're on Zay. Everybody say Zay.
Zay.
Zay. Now Zayun is the seventh sign. Everybody say Zayun is the... Oh, this thing is wet. Give me this one. Zayun is the seventh sign. A mystery that rocks the mind. Safirun samtun istifal jaharun rikhwun even fathu. Zayun's from. Okay. The tip of tongues. As it nears the inner gums. Incisors, they buzz away. So make ikhfa right after N. Let me explain this. Now you have to pay attention. Listen, this whole thing about pronouncing the letters is a very easy one. It's a very simple letter. The only thing about it is you have to pay attention the first time and you will get it. Okay? Zayun is the seventh sign. One of the things that we're going over here that we're looking for in every letter is to find the numeric value. That, like I say again, is not for no Sufi nonsense or anything like that, but the purpose of that is an outline form. It's part of the history of the alphabet and a very valuable part that you will use if you become a talibul ilm and you go further in your studies and utilizing historically the letters of the Arabic language. So, Zayun is the seventh sign, a mystery that rocks the mind. The reason why this was put here, the mystery that rocks the mind, as for a long time people are amazed with the number 7, the secrets of 7. You know, so it just goes together with that Zayun is the seventh sign, and it's a mystery that rocks the mind. Who cares? Safirun samtun istifal. Here is a definition of the sifat. The sifat of this letter, and you have to know them in order to pronounce this letter properly. You have here Safir. Safir is a sound, a whistling sound. It's more of a buzz in the letter Zay, and you don't hear it in other letters. Samtun. Samtun is that restraint. Everybody say az. Now we're going to get to how to pronounce that. Istifal. Your tongue is flat. Okay, it starts off flat. Then it says jahrun. There has to be loud. Rikhwun. The rikhwun is there because you cannot control zay. Rikhwun means that it's weak in its construction. That means it spills all over the place. Once the sound starts, you cannot stop it. Okay? Unlike ib. Everybody say ib. That's strong. But you say is. You hear that? You can't stop it. It spills once you start with it. Is that understandable? That's what that rikhwun is. And even fathu, say za. Remember, it says istifal, so your tongue is what? What is your tongue? Your tongue is flat in your mouth. Say za, z, zu. You see how your mouth is going? Your tongue is going to stay flat. Then it tells you exactly how to pronounce this letter. Okay? And this is from what Sibawayh, he wrote about this letter. He said, Zayun's from the tip of the tongue. The very tip of the tongue. As it nears, important part. As it what? Nears. It does not touch. It does not touch touch. It does not touch. It said that zay is like breathing through a comb. The teeth of the comb, of the comb, is like, so everybody say is. You see how that tongue gets close? So he says, zayum's from the tip of tongues as it nears the inner gums. So it's telling you exactly where the makhraj of this zay is. So your tip of your tongue should go close to your inner gums, and as it does, as it gets close to the tip of the tongue near the inner gums, where on the inner gums? It tells you, incisors. It should be close to where your incisors are. Your incisors are your choppers, not your grinders. So it says, as your tip of your tongue nears the inner gums, near the incisors, what's going to happen? It's going to make what type of sound? A buzzing sound. And you see, it takes you, if you read the poem, it takes you exactly to the makhraj. So say the word buzz. Buzz. That's the makhraj. If you say the word buzz, everybody say it again. Buzz. 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 Drag it out. Buzz. Buzz. And it should be close to those incisors up on the top. Say buzz. 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 You know how to make zay. And the point that I want to emphasize here is that we already know a lot of these sounds. We already know how to pronounce them. So now when I point that to you and bring it out to you, I don't want to hear people not saying either zulzila and they don't pronounce it right. You should be able to pronounce zulzila, right? Zilzalaha. You know these sounds. These are sounds that are not unfamiliar to your vernacular of the New York English language. Okay? So, incisors, they buzz away, so make ikhfa. Ikhfa is what? The tajweed rule. The tajweed rule is ikhfa right after the sound of N. And we're not going to get into it because, again, my job here is not to teach you what? Tajweed. My job is to teach you how to pronounce the letters. If you pronounce the letters properly, when you move over to the Sheikh's class, the Imam's class of tajweed, he'll be very, very pleased with you. If you don't, you're going to waste your time and his. Okay? So pay attention to this. Zayun is the seventh sign, a mystery that rocks the mind. Safirun, samtun, istifal, jaharun, rikhun, even fat. Zayun's from the tip of tongues as it nears the inner gums. Incisors, they buzz away. So make ikhfa right after. Easy. Any questions about that? Right, a lot of haddu about not much. Okay, erase the board, young man. Very easy. Now we get to move. Hey you, kida, undo. I'll get up here. Now we are finished with Abu Jad and Hawaz. Okay. What's the next word? Abjad Hawaz Huttiya Kaliman Sa'fas Kurishat Fakhid Dadig, right? Kurishat. Very similar to the word Quraysh. Okay. أجلسوا. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وآله وصحبه ومن اتقى. Give me the pen, please. Shukran jazeelan. Now, for our second part of this Arabic class, now everybody should know how to pronounce abjad and hawaz. So when I question you on it, see, this is the thing. The challenge here, because we're videotaping this, some people may be getting the wrong idea. That this class doesn't get tested. You will get tested. I can know if you memorize by listening to how you go through the text. You have to memorize. If you memorize every piece, I give you one letter, one lesson, one letter. Just focus on that letter. When you come to class, you'll be ready. By the time you finish a word, you'll be ready to go to the next word. You'll have understood, and we regurgitate this and we reiterate these points over and over again, not for redundancy point of view, but or redundancy's sake, but for the point of beating it literally in your head. So it's second nature. What is Jaharun? If you've been following the poem since Alif, you should know what Jaharun is. What is Jaharun? It's loudness, audibility. You guys stop moving. What is Rikhwan? Weak sound. How is that weakness though? Describe that weakness, Mustafa.
It goes everywhere.
Spills everywhere. Like az. Okay? So then what is Samtun? Restraint. Holding that sound in. Where do you hold it in from? Your nasals and your stomach. Okay? Say ah. Say az. Say ad. Now when you pronounce jim and ba, where does the sound come from? Does the sound come from the connecting or from the pulling away? It comes from the pulling away. Say ab and don't lose your and press your lips up but don't separate. Say ab. Now say ad. It doesn't work, does it? It only works if you separate. Say ab. So the separation is important. Now say edge. The separation is important. Now del strikes. Say id. Right? Id. You see that? It hits it. It punches those teeth. Now say az. It does something totally different. It vibrates. It buzzes away as it nears the inner gums incisors, right? So understand that and be conscious of that as you learn these letters, so that by the time you get to Ghain, you know properly. You've worked out the kinks of pronouncing these little bitty letters. And it's very important. I can't say it enough. Now we're in Al-Ajrumiyya. We're in the text called Al-Ajrumiyya. Who can tell me what Al-Ajrumiyya is about? A science through which we study Arabic grammar? No.
Which is the breaking down of...
That's incorrect. Totally incorrect. What is Al-Ajrumiyya? What?
It's a scientific breakdown.
No, I'm not accepting that. Al-Ajrumiyya is a classical work in grammar. Period, point blank. That's it. I see this guy over here scared. Scared to answer. That's all it is. Al-Ajrumiyya is the name of the classic, the primer classic in Arabic grammar. That's what Al-Ajrumiyya is. That's the answer to that. Nothing more, nothing less. The word Al-Ajrum, what does it mean? The word Al-Ajrum is Berber, means West African talk for the poor Sufi. That's what Al-Ajrum means in Berber. That's what the word means. Who was he? He was a sheikh, a scholar of Arabic grammar. What we're studying is the Nazm, the poem, the classical poem on his work. Following that style. How does it start? Thank you very much. If we didn't have the lady scholars, I don't know what would happen. I'm serious. Remember that the Muslim Ummah was great as long as we had Muslim women scholars. As soon, and you look at Islamic history, as soon as there was a decline in Muslim women scholardom, there was a decline in Muslim sociology, there was a decline in jihad, there was a decline in everything in the Muslim world, and that's the case today. Now one of the muhaddithat, now one of the scholars of hadith,